let me first make it clear. I am in training. I am not a full-fledged beekeeping rescuer. I'm being mentored by Daniel Center, who is the beekeeping person of NewJerseyBees.com. He has been making rescues for years in Teaneck. He's got at least 7 years under his belt in beekeeping. I have only 6 months. I bought my bees in April, and now I started out with 6,000 bees. I picked them up in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and I drove them home like they were eggs. I love them so much. They're all females mostly. There's a few drones, but 99% are females, and they're predominantly what's called immature females. They've never been mated at all. They spend their time in that box. It's about a square box. They are also, the queen is at the bottom in a little cage, and they love her. They smell her pheromone. Each bee has a specific pheromone that essentially describes what its job will be when it gets into the hive. There's 12 particular jobs, including sweepers, cleaners of the hive, making sure that the hexagon is properly hexed, because she will not lay in a hexagon that has not been formed properly. They also are nurses, morticians, and they work in the dark. In the dark. Now, can you imagine? They work in the dark. Now, these bees last approximately 3 weeks. That's their lifespan. That's the female bee. The drones last about 6 weeks. The queen can go to 2 years. The queen on an average day will lay 1,000 eggs per day. So when I started out with my 6,000 bees in my hive, which we put in from Wilkes-Barre, and Daniel Center, my mentor, helped me put them into the hive by opening the frame, and then we dropped them in, dropped the queen in. Currently, at this moment, we are now into the month of August. I think, from my best estimate, I have 50,000 bees. I will not be able to get my honey this year because you give it to the bees and let them, they will produce 200 pounds of honey in their boxes that look very much like this. Each one of these boxes produces 200 pounds of honey. This is usually used to keep them, to feed the bees. And you put sugar water, 1-to-1 ratio. I usually put 25 pounds of sugar and 25 pounds of water into the honey, into the mixture, and I mix it up like a brew. And then I put it into quart containers that look very much like a one of those bell jars, and turn it upside down, and they automatically expend their whole, they go up there, they work 22 hours a day, they get 2 hours off, they go up to the penthouse, and they have a little bit of a, they drink a little bit. Honey that, sweet sugar honey, sweet sugar that they didn't have to go and hustle for. Now, with regard to bee rescues are very important. Number one, when a bee swarms, a whole colony leaves. It's a big, 50,000 will get out of somewhere because they've got no more room. They're not leaving on purpose. Their home is either being bothered, but they leave and they go. Danny gets a call from the police department in Teaneck because they call the Teaneck Police Department. The police department called Danny. Danny calls me, and I come along to help out. That's what I'm learning how to do. And we had 3 rescues this month. One was at the police department, where they themselves found that a whole swarm, 50,000 bees, had moved into one of their lights in their cruisers. So we use ways of which you basically vacuum them out. Then you put a pail like this, you vacuum them out. You have 2 pails, one is the vacuum and one sucks them into there. Then you put the top on and you put a screen over it and push it down, and it's completely sealed. Now the bees are in there. maybe 30, if the 50,000, 10,000 bees are in there. Now, we then take those and put that on top of the cruiser. And guess what? If we got the queen in there, which is typical, we'll end up having all the bees moving from the location that they were in and jump on top of this thing because they want to be with their buddies, their girlfriends, the queen. We then take these and put them in what's called a hive after we get all of them out. And we usually get we need three buckets full. And put them in a hive and then bring them back to our own hives. So we have a new hive and they have a new home with a lot of room, a lot of space, and they're very happy.
Bee rescue.
It's a bee rescue. And we took them from a police department light to a apiary, which is called a bunch of hives. My name is Raymond Arons. I live in Teaneck, New Jersey, and I am a new training bee rescuer, and I'm happy to be here on Meet the Farmer TV.